Hello, Cal Parents. Welcome to Cal Parents Facebook Live with the Dean of Students Office. My name is Sunny Lee, and I'm the Interim Dean of Students. I've been in this role since August of this year. Previous to this role, I've served as the Associate Dean of Students in our office for over 2 years. But I've been at Cal for 8 years total. The first 6 years I served in the Ombuds Office for Students and postdoctoral appointees. This is my fifth college university that I've worked at in the span of my 20-year career serving students. I love working in student affairs. I love working at Cal especially because it's one of the most, if not the most, dynamic student culture campus community that I've been a part of. The students, the staff, the faculty that I get to partner with on a regular basis are some of the most creative, innovative, challenging individuals that I've ever met. A little bit about me: I'm from Southern California. Born in South Korea, immigrated when I was 6, and coming up to the Bay Area for the first time 8 years ago. I love this area, and I'm raising my family here, and I feel privileged to serve your students here as the Interim Dean of Students.
Good afternoon. My name is Samuel Santos, and I'm Assistant Vice Chancellor and Associate Dean of Students. I've been on campus for 4 months, since July 1st. I have worked at a few different UCs, UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara. I was born and raised in South Texas, but I got to California as quickly as I could. I'm really excited to be here at UC Berkeley. The areas that I oversee are Res Life, the Rec Center, the Lead Center, CIRC, and New Student Services. I'm most excited about being at Cal because of the students. It's such a dynamic student body. So just in my first 4 months, I've learned so much, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's see. The first question that we have is, please discuss with the parents and families what the Dean of Students Office is responsible for on campus. You heard a little bit from Samuel, but I'll go over all the 12 different departments that encompass our dynamic portfolio. So we have Res Life, the Career Center, the Public Service Center, ASU Student Union, Rec Sports, Student Environmental Resource Center, New Student Services, the Lead Center, Center for Student Conduct, Center for Supported Intervention, Student Legal Services, and the Dean of Students Immediate Office. I think I got all of that.
Great job.
And we could talk a little bit more about each of those areas as the questions come up. Primarily, I like to see the work that we do in supporting student life in every aspect. So providing an engaging college experience for all of our students, providing student support, advocacy, crisis management, student development, leadership development, career development, whatnot, health and wellness. And so we cover the entire college experience, from onboarding students when they come to supporting them in their life as alumni and everything in between. So we have a comprehensive and broad portfolio. And if you have a question that doesn't fall within our units, we will know who can help you.
Our next question is, what determines success for the Dean of Students Office? And I really think it requires that we are responsive to students' needs. So our goal is to assist students in reaching their full academic potential. That can look different for each student. So what we do in the Dean of Students Office is provide ways to support them and also provide ways for them to engage on campus. Having 40,000 students, wayfinding and engagement is a critical part of how we view our success. So when folks ask us, what does success look like? I think that it changes year to year. Our students change, and we work to make sure that we're responsive to the needs of our students.
So next question: with such a big department, how does your staff cover it all? As Samuel said, we have over 40,000 students and a limited number of professional staff, but we hire a large number of student staff, student employees. We also have student volunteers, and we could not do our work, we could not fulfill our mission without them. And so in every aspect of our units, whether it's the student union, student RAs, work study students, administrative student staff, they help us fulfill our purpose in reaching out to our student community and many of them, most of them work as paraprofessionals. They gain valuable skills from learning from professional staff that they can put on their resumes and talk about in their job interviews as they exit their time at Berkeley. And so, but it's not just our student staff and our professional staff. We partner with individual staff and faculty all across the campus. So we have some great colleagues in equity and inclusion and undergraduate education and the academic colleges with the academic advisors. One thing that's very special about UC Berkeley is that a lot of work gets done with collaborative teamwork. There's a lot of committees, with caring people who are dedicated to the work that we do. And so we certainly do not do this work alone. All right, so with the recent fires, power outages, and earthquakes, what does emergency protocols look like on campus? Great question. October was a very interesting month for all of us, especially those of us who part of our work is crisis management on campus. So first of all, we have a monthly drill. So our sirens get tested the first Wednesday of every month. Your students may have told you about that, the first Wednesday of every month at noon. And so when that siren is heard outside of that time, the directive is to go inside and seek shelter. We also have the warnme.com program. And so anybody with a Berkeley email address is automatically enrolled into warnme.com. And messaging will go out from our UC Police Department as well as the Operations Emergency Management Center, which is a group that gets activated during time of crisis or campus-wide emergencies. And so those were activated. OEM was activated during the last 2 power outages that we had in October. In addition to that, we have our student leaders, our RAs, who are trained in emergency protocols for the residence hall. We also have what's called the Berkeley Disaster Team, and that is a group of student volunteers who are trained and volunteer their time to serve as leads during times of crisis. So the Berkeley Disaster Team was right there with the emergency management team and helping run messages across campus, checking on things, and supporting the emergency protocols in that way. There might be a couple of other things that I forgot to mention, but on the OEM website, if you just go into oem.berkeley.edu, there's a lot more information about what's available for emergency protocols, and we handle certain situations on campus. Aha, the next one's mine as well. Let's see, what services are provided by and in the ASU Student Union? So quite a bit. We have a campus restaurant that will be reopening soon. We also have food vendors provided by La Cocina, which are operated by local restaurant owners. And we also have our ATM, our bank, we have retail, Amazon, the Cal bookstore, the student store. We also have different departments that are housed in the Student Union. We have the Lead Center and the Public Service Center, Student Government, also holds meetings, or actually hold meetings in their building in Eshelman, which is connected. But our registered student organizations have student org space in the building. Event services, so student groups, campus groups, departments, also community organizations and groups can also rent space in the building as well. We like to think of the Student Union as our campus living room. And so at any point in the day and late at night, you can walk through and see lots of students studying, just hanging out, getting coffee at the 1951 coffee cafe, which I like to visit regularly. We have students even hanging out in the Amazon space. And so lots of services and resources that are provided by the Student Union. If you haven't had a chance to come up and visit, I highly encourage you to do so.
Next question, what are ways students can be engaged on campus? This is an excellent question. UC Berkeley is obviously known for its academics with our 14 colleges and professional schools, over 350 areas of study, 13,000 classes students can select from. So there are plenty of ways to be involved in the classroom. So we'd also like to encourage students to be involved outside of the classroom. So we like students to discover all of the resources on campus. The first way that comes to mind is one of our 1,200 clubs or organizations. Students can find something that's exciting to them. If they cannot find something that's exciting to them, then we encourage students to create their own club or organization. Another way students can engage on campus is through our Public Service Center. They do a lot of great work on campus and in the community. Another way is activism. Berkeley has a long history of activism. We encourage students to find their community and engage. So we offer students a number of ways to engage on campus, and we find that most students find their fit or create their own way, which is a great resource at UC Berkeley.
All right. Before I move on to the next question, one important piece that I forgot about the Student Union is the Creative Art Lab and Art Studio. So it's a wonderful way for students to release their stress and exercise their creativity by taking a class in the art studio. And this next question triggered that, which is, how does the Dean of Students office help students with mental health issues? So we do actually quite a bit, and we often say to parents and to students, if you don't know how to get started with a resource or a question on campus, you can always reach out to us at deanofstudents@berkeley.edu or give us a call. You can research us on our website as well. One of the key ways that our office helps students with mental health issues is through our Center for Support and Intervention. So we have case managers that work in this department. We actually share our space. We're located in 102 Sparrow. They're located right where Samuel and I work, and they work every day with students who are in crisis, who are of concern, and who may need a little bit of extra attention. We have what's called a care report, and anyone can submit a care report, mostly come from faculty and staff on campus. Our case managers will look through the care reports every Tuesday, or once a week. They will come together and they will look at these care reports and determine what is the best course of action or approach for students who may be of concern. Our case managers also are well connected to our counselors in CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services, which is housed in University Health Services, or also known as the Tang Center. Another obvious, very important resource, of course, is CalParents. And I'm so grateful for CalParents who are here, who can be liaisons to all of you parents out there, and they are well versed in all of the resources that are available on campus. And CalParents can also submit a care report on your behalf as parents. So you don't have to do it directly yourself. You can call the wonderful staff here and they will do it on your behalf. And you can trust that our case managers who are expertly trained will follow up with each student case as appropriate. Can you explain how the Career Center engages students? Does the student have to go to their offices to utilize their services? So the Career Center has 3 key pillars. So the first is career clarity. And that is during, when the students are in the exploratory process, they want to identify what their interests might be. They can meet with a career counselor, or career counselors can also specialize with certain populations, international students, students in particular fields, majors, career interests, health industry, etc. There's also a lot of workshops that are available to attend in person or online. And so also to the question, Can students access services outside of the office? Absolutely. There's 24-hour resources online. There's 40 videos on how to do this and that are on YouTube. And so how to develop your resume, how to conduct yourself on an interview. We even have a Pinterest board that have examples of how students can dress appropriately for job interviews. The most important thing that your student can do is sign up for Handshake, which they can do on the Career website. And Handshake is basically a matching system for employers, for jobs, for internships, externships, with students who are interested in those kinds of placements, which is the second pillar, career competitiveness. And that's all about getting oneself ready and to be presentable to a future placement site. Lastly, it's career connections. And so that is about participating in career fairs, connecting with alumni networking events, connecting to the external community outside of Berkeley. And when I say that, it doesn't just have to mean locally, it's also international. We have recruiters from all over the world coming to Berkeley because they know our students are some of the best students that they can connect with. There's a lot more that's available on the Career Center website, careercenter.berkeley.edu. There's some amazing dedicated staff that are committed to getting your students the support that they need. Just a few fun facts: 70% of our graduates go on to the workforce, 20% go on to graduate school right after Berkeley, and then another 10% will do something else like join the Peace Corps, take a year off, and whatnot. So those are some great statistics that we're proud of. Can students use the Career Center after graduation? Actually, that is a great question, and it's a new program. Alumni absolutely can use the Career Center. There is a small fee. It is less, and it may even be free for a certain period right after graduation. You can find more details on the website. Alumni that have been out for a while can also access with certain fees to help supplement the cost. All right, one more and I'll turn it over to Samuel.
You're doing a great job, Sam.
How does the campus food pantry and CalFresh programs work? Okay, another great question. So the campus food pantry is a food pantry that's available on the basement level of our student union. And that's where students, any student, can come and get some groceries up to twice a month. And so during each visit, a student can get an unlimited amount of produce or bread items and a limited amount of shelf items up to 2 times a month. The next part, how does CalFresh programs work? The best place to go for that is calfresh.berkeley.edu. But students who qualify for the program can apply right there online. Students who are eligible and approved will get an EBT card that they can use at any, not any, but many grocery stores in the local area. The eligibility is dependent on each student's financial situation. Students who qualify for work study or receive a Cal grant are eligible, also depending on your annual income, your family size, whatnot. So I encourage for students who may be interested and eligible to go to the site and check to see what is available to you.
Next question, what is the role of the Resident Hall Assembly? That's a great question. So the Resident Hall Assembly is comprised of an association, has representatives from each residential hall. What this means is that students are elected and their job is to advocate for students in the residence halls and also do programming. So advocacy could look like we would like different dining options, or we're concerned about security, or there's a new policy coming up and we'd like to share our thoughts as students about how this might affect our experience. In terms of programming, they're also in charge of doing programming throughout the semester. Could be educational programming, could be social programming. Some examples that come to mind that they've done are earthquake preparedness, they've done safety workshops, Some advocacy they've been involved in around sustainability has been around doing trayless meals, meaning not using trays in the res halls to save on water and waste. So the Resident Hall Assembly serves as a really important part of the experience for students in our res halls. It's really their channel for advocacy and communication with university leadership on changes that they would like to see happen. Let's see. The next question is, how do RAs deal with safety issues in the dorms, protocols for drinking, strangers on premise, and etc.? This is another great question. Our RAs go through an extensive training program every summer. And even if they've been an RA, they're still required to go through the training. In addition to the RAs, we have excellent professional staff who have years of experience working with residential education and programming, who also go through training as well. So our students are put through training, our professional staff are also put through training, and then together they do training to ensure safety and security. We'd like our students to resolve as many of the lower level issues as possible on their own. There are issues, however, that do require the assistance of professional staff. There is always at least one person on call who's a professional staff, full-time staff member to really assist with issues with the RAs, and then sometimes take the matter into their own hands and handle the situation themselves. So we take the safety and security of our students very seriously. We know it's really important, and we also acknowledge that our RAs are students, so they have a capacity that we need to honor and acknowledge. Their first role here on campus is to be students. So it's a definite balance, and it's done with a whole lot of support. Okay, next question. On Res Life and Facilities, it says, the Unit 3 building has sustained a broken elevator for weeks. How are these and or other dormitory issues managed? That's a great question. Our facilities are also an important part, obviously, of the residential life experience. We have a team that works really hard on our facilities. As soon as there is something wrong, we ask that students notify our professional staff who really go to work to solve and address issues as quickly as possible. Sometimes these things do take time. An issue like an elevator, it could be an issue with a part that's backlogged, it could be a service contract that's taking time, but we do take these issues very seriously. If you feel like you'd like immediate response, we do encourage students and parents to email Cal Housing. They are extremely responsive and reply pretty quickly. You can also email deanofstudents@berkeley.edu. We will also look into the matter for you. We'd like to address issues immediately. Sometimes it does take time, and we acknowledge that. What's really important is that you communicate with us, and we'll do our best to give you regular updates.
All right, so next question. Many are concerned about the recent shooting close to Super Duper Burger. Is there anything the administration is doing to work with the city of Berkeley to curtail violent crime near the university? Really great question. I'm a parent myself, so the safety and wellness of your students is of paramount importance to you as a parent, and of course to us as staff, as Dean of Student staff on this campus. And so our campus, I can't speak directly about this particular incident, but our administration, our university police department is constantly engaged in engagement with the city of Berkeley. Not all universities have their own police department, and we're fortunate that we do. And we also are fortunate that we have the resources available to us because of our close proximity with the city and the urban nature of our campus. And so, what I can say is, even if there aren't a lot of details that can be shared about specific incidents of crime, because investigations are ongoing, and there may be more information that can be shared later, but with something so recent, not everything can be shared right away. But overall, this is a topic that is of paramount importance to our senior-most administrators and anybody who works here. Safety is something that is a constant topic for us. Do you think the campus is safe for students, faculty, and staff? Many parents have concerns what is being done to make done to make the campus safety? So I'm assuming the question is about physical campus safety, because there's other psychological, emotional, other types of safety as well. I've been a staff member here for 8 years. So I'll speak from the staff experience that I think it is a very safe place to be, but you know, what we direct our staff and our students, our faculty to do is to be self-aware at all times and not to take things for granted, just because we are on a college campus community with our own police department, to utilize the tools that we have to call for night safety, a program that's run by our UC Police Department. We have blue lights that are used as emergency call stations all across our campus. There's more efforts in making our campus more lit at night, and so to not walk around with earbuds in our ear, not to walk around across the street or anywhere with looking at our phone, and to be constantly vigilant about our surroundings. You know, if you're in a public place, you know, on campus or even off campus, you know, just be mindful of your belongings and where you leave things. So, you know, coming to an urban environment can be a big transition for some of our students who have not lived in that kind of place before. So it's a big transition, but I don't think that's unique to UC Berkeley. I've always lived and worked in other more suburban-like environments. So for me to come here was a transition as well. And things, you know, things start feeling more normalized in terms of my own responsibility and agency. So I would say that, you know, from my staff experience, I feel, you know, plenty safe and feel supported by our protocols and our police department. And for students who do not feel that, that's what we're here for, to work with students to help them feel safe and well and engaged and supported.
Next question is about flu shots. Do we have flu shots on campus, and how can students access them? So the best bet would be for students to visit our Tang Health Center directly, and or the website that has the most updated information. Anything you want to add to that, Sunny?
No, that's great.
Okay. Next question. Is there anything that you would like the parents to know? I would just like to circle back around to what Sunny was mentioning around safety. Our police department, like every public police department, is required to keep crime statistics. There's an annual Clery report that has information on crime statistics, and I think you'll find that we're not more or less unusual than most urban campuses. I think the common sense measures around not being on your cell phone when you're walking around in groups at dusk or at nighttime, calling for help and using campus resources is critical. But by and large, I think that safety is important for all of us here on campus. We take it seriously, and I would encourage students to use the resources that we have.
And for those of you who did not log into or had a chance to view yet Chief Margot Bennett's Facebook Live, it's recorded. I believe she did one very recently, just a few months ago, last month. And so I encourage you to log on to that and to listen to her recording for more information and her leadership and all that's being done in that effort.
One more resource I did want to mention that I think I sort of glazed over was our rec sports program. There's a number of different programs across campus. We have a number of facilities, classes, a partnership at the Bay where students can participate in rec adventures. So another way we encourage students to take care of themselves and part of their wellness is being physically active. They offer fitness programs at every level, so I encourage you to visit the website that offers all this great information around programming that students can participate in just by the nature of being students here.
And just one final note, again, if you have a question that we didn't get to answer, if you have any follow-up questions that you think of later tonight or at any point, please remember deanofstudents@berkeley.edu or calparents@berkeley.edu. We're here to support you and your students get connected and engaged. We want them to have a successful college experience. We're here to serve. And last but not least, go Bears!